Hey, good morning, and welcome to another episode of the Fueled Life podcast. And today we're going to talk about having energy and having natural energy and not getting it from a can. And, the idea behind the whole energy push in a can or in a cup or in a pill is the idea that you're going to get something that's natural. And what we want to kind of demystify today is that your body is so intelligent that you have the natural ability to do this. And when you don't rely on those outside supplements, you can actually have more energy and vitality going forward in the future. So, Charlie, how are you today, my friend? And how's your energy level?
My energy is well, and due to outside circumstances and winds and rains and it's dark out and this going on, that going on, I'm not giving my power away to circumstances. I'm feeling energized and excited for today's podcast.
Good, good. And that's the thing, Charlie. And I'm glad you brought that up. And I'm glad that sometimes I'm glad. Let me put it that way. Sometimes I'm glad that the outside elements create a different opportunity. I'll put it that way for us. And it can suck our energy, and it can make us go, gosh, I just need another cup of coffee.
Yeah, I like coffee. And so first, I think, Stanley, what we got to look at what I can only share from experience. What I needed to look at, what's robbing my energy,
Mhm.
and if I'm feeling sluggish or befogged, or I'm just not feeling, and then I'm starting to imagine, oh, since I'm getting older, this must be how it's going to be. So I needed to take a look at, like, what could possibly be, because I've seen people my age who are energized. They're they're living full. They're smiling. They're doing things in life. They're not sluggish and hitting the monsters and the Red Bulls and the slamming the coffee and hitting the Snickers, and they're not doing that throughout the day to maintain their energy. They're tapped into something, and I'm curious about that.
Yeah, when we think about children, my granddaughters are not drinking Mad Bull or Red Dog or any of those drinks. Okay, and they're not down in the coffee. They're not asking for a double latte cappuccino. They're not asking for those things, and they've got this abundance of energy. And so often I hear adults say, gosh, I just wish I had that energy. And people would ask me as I was growing up, and I'm still not grown up yet, so I'm still in that process. What are you on? I'm not on anything. Okay. And the idea behind it is there was a period of time when I would get up in the morning because I just followed what everybody was doing, the outside normal environment. And, one of the things that I had in my life that happened was I started getting heart palpitations in my early 20s. And I went to the doctor, and I had a first name basis with this doctor that I truly trusted. He was a different type of doctor. And he didn't follow into the normal, what you can't do, what you can do. And he just said, Stan, let's look at your diet. And I want you to write down the things that you're eating and the things that you're drinking. Simple process, right? And I had Pepsi on there. I wake up at 4 in the morning. I was drinking a Pepsi. I take a mid-morning break at work. I was drinking a Pepsi. Lunch, I was having a Pepsi. Afternoon break, I was having a Pepsi. After got done working, having a Pepsi. I was drinking maybe 4, 5, 6, 7 Pepsis a day. And then when I drive, I had a 12-pack of Pepsi in the back. And all that caffeine was wrecking my body.
How about the sugar?
Yeah, on top of the sugar, right.
So I knew a guy that he looked like if you poked him with a pin, he would burst. His head was like the skin couldn't even keep it in. His head was round and pressurized. His eyes were sunk back. He was big all over. Well, I mean, and he was going all day and working, but wow. And then I didn't see him for a good 4 months. I saw him. I'm like, whoa. What happened to you? He goes, I stopped drinking Coca-Cola. That's
Yeah,
all he did. He didn't exercise. He did nothing different. He just stopped
right.
because he was bringing 64 whatever liter bottles and he drank them all day from when he got up till he went to bed. And then one day he woke up and said, could that have anything to do with my inflammation, my lack of energy, my snippiness, my feeling agitated, the effect on my business, not wanting to get out of bed? Could this have anything to do with it? Remove that from his diet, from his daily routine, and his life started to transform. And what else happened, Stanley, was he became curious about other things.
Right.
So, geez, if that works so well, maybe I should. I mean, that's how simple it is.
Right.
Just try and then get curious and look at another area, and you'll notice that you'll start waking up the energy that already is a part of who we are. But the diet and the stress and the bills and the negative people and the bad job and all of that is constantly using energy all day long.
Right. Right. You know, and while you were talking, I was just, I imagine what you're saying, and I'm picturing these elements. And this is just another one of those things that when we feel like we're not enough in ourself, we're looking for something on the outside. And this is probably another conversation. But here, our energy, our natural energy, the way that the body was designed to produce these chemicals, uh, if we start to suppress it with other elements, like you said, the job, the relationship, the relationships that we have outside of even our intimate relationship, those are wearing factors, and we're looking for something to support that. And so we go for that Cinnabon, or we're going for that piece of pie, or the dozen cookies. Okay, I'm confessing. Um, and we're looking for something, that bowl of ice cream at the end of the day that we think is actually going to make us give us comfort food, but it's actually doing more destruction.
Mhm.
And when I had a guy that worked for me, and he would drink those NOS, and it's like nitric oxide something.
Sugar.
And I looked at it, and it had 365 grams of caffeine in one can. And I'm thinking, my gosh, it's amazing your heart doesn't explode drinking one can. It's crazy. But that's what some people have built, these new plateaus that they require. And here again, sugar does the same thing. It's an added supplement that's giving us a quick fix that doesn't last, and then we have a crash.
Yeah. So you mentioned kids. Of course, kids have a lot of energy. Yes, of course, their bodies they're more fluid, they're flexible. Yeah, I mean, that's obvious. Kids are gonna have more energy than a 55, 65-year-old adult. But here's a, a big difference is that their focus is imagination, their focus is play, their focus is very, very different from a parent. A parent is, are they safe? Are their meals done? What do I need to do for work today? How many calls do I have? I mean, a parent is running a bigger system. So that takes energy. Kids They don't have that system going. They're like, do, 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 do. And let me look at my hand. And it was not a neat finger, So they're exuding energy. Stanley, we all went to work back in the day. It was labor. It was on a farm. It was in a factory. It was building cars. It was working in shops, building, manufacturing, farming. So, and people, first of all, weren't getting fat and they weren't tired all the time.
Right.
But now people are sitting and working and they're exhausted. Yes, the food has a lot to do with it, but the stress of constant emails and meetings and that stuff burns massive amounts of calories every day and exhausts people. So why not the corporate culture? Go into the junk room. I mean, the break room.
Right.
And go get yourself that candy bar, that bagel, that 14th cup of coffee. Come on, we want to get the most out of you. It's culture also has done it to us. It's not like, I just want to be lazy and take stimulants all day so I don't have to do anything but act as a robot.
So my question is, like you mentioned in the very beginning, is who are we giving our power to? And when we give our power away, then we're navigating.
Powerless.
Yeah. Then we're going towards that. Oh gosh, I just need something to calm me down. I need a cup of coffee. I need a stimulant. And my gosh, I remember when I was growing up, the big things that kids were taking, back then was diet pills. They didn't even need to be on a diet. I mean, these are skinny kids taking diet pills because of the stimulant that was in it and the immediate rush that they were getting, the high and the extra that they thought was energy, but it was just putting your car into first gear and going 70 miles an hour. You're going to burn that thing up quickly and it's going to leave you stranded. And what happens is when we are dependent on stimulation outside of the body and not creating it naturally, we're going to burn out. We're going to have those crashes and it's going to be hitting a brick wall at the end of the day. And then not only that, but the digestive calamity that takes place. And we know that, I think 80% of our serotonin is developed in our gut. So if we don't have good gut health, we're feeding it with these stimulants and sugars and caffeine. Now our body is not able to operate. And it's just a train wreck over and over.
This podcast is called The Fueled Life. And most of what we want to talk about is about regaining the fuel that you already have. You don't have to go. It's not at a doctor's office. It's not at the cocaine store. It's not at the Adderall booth. It's not at the NOS. Of course, I want to try that now. I mean, I'm sure it's scary, but I like scary. It's not at the psychiatrist's office, and I'm not saying any of that getting some health for mental health and noticing what I'm afraid of, noticing where I'm telling myself lies, and noticing how I'm self-seeking throughout the day, and noticing that I'm coming from a place of fear, of lack of scarcity. Once you recognize that stuff, those things in your life, and you can do something about it, you'll regain power. It's already there. You'll move the nonsense out of the way, and you'll tap back into that power. Because I remember thinking, I'm not exhausted today. Well, I haven't resented anybody. I didn't get angry today. I didn't, eat waffles for breakfast and a bologna sandwich for lunch. I didn't, you know what I mean? It was like, wait, I thought of others. I helped somebody out today. I ate healthy meals. I did some meditation and prayer. Oh, and I still have energy today. What is going on? I had to experience it, Stanley.
Right.
Sure, you could tell me, a coach could say, but like I said in the beginning, get curious. Do you think the Diet Coke is better than the regular Coke? That's like saying, do you think crack is better than regular cocaine. They're both not that good for you. I shouldn't say they're not that good. They're probably horrific.
Right. Right. So, how do you get this natural energy that we're talking about? I mean, what is it that you do that you have this jubilance about you?
Oh, I thought you were just putting it out there. I wanted to just say, Stanley, remember that? Like you would see those people, whether it was at church or in the workplace, and they kind of had a little something in their step. They held their head high. They were bright skinned and their eyes were glowing and they were reaching out and they were smiling, saying hello to people. I'm like, what freaking drug are you on?
Right.
And they were high on life.
Right.
They were tapped into that source. So how do we tap into? Well, you've got to remove negative thoughts, scarcity, lack, blaming, complaining, jealousy, enviness. You've got to take responsibility and say, wait, I'm the creator of my life and my thoughts and the direction I want to head in. And once we realize that, a little blip of energy comes, a little more dopamine comes at the right time. And, the body wants to provide us with the flow
Mhm.
that but we've got to do the work to unblock it. It's kind of like the stream is good, and there's all things in its way. It'll never stop, but it'll work much harder going to the water will build up, it'll go over something. But if you clear out all the obstacles in our mind, in our body, our body stores a lot of the garbage too. And I mean
Right.
negative thoughts and things. So when I look at a stream and I remove all that and it starts to flow, the energy continues. And then I think, what is it today that I can add to the stream of life?
Exactly. And one of the things is, as you're talking about the nutrition that we bring into our body. So when people tell me, when I ask them, I say, what does your hydration level look like? What is it that you drink? And then they tell me I've had 3, 4, maybe 5 cups of coffee in a day. And I'm no judgment. I'm just asking. And then they begin to tell me what other things they're bringing in. And they're telling me about the carbohydrates that they're bringing in. And they're talking about high glycemic foods. They're talking about potatoes and they're talking about rice and they're talking about a lot of high carbohydrates that are not really good carbohydrates. And they're talking about things that bring in high levels of sugar, but not natural forms of sugar. So they're adding the packets to their drink. And what they're doing actually is they're dehydrating their body. And I ask them, how much water have you drank? And I'm like, they have to really think about it. And they think that coffee, they think that pop, they think that getting those types of drinks are actually hydrating their body, and they're not. They're dehydrating. So that dehydration is taxing their body's energy level, their ability to produce an energy. And they discover, as they start to eliminate, and they start to journal, they start to document and just take an inventory of what it is. And I was on a call this morning, and one of the questions that I asked was, are you drinking your coffee before you drink a glass of water in the morning? And they thought about it and they said, yeah. And I said, well, why don't you transpose that and drink your water first thing, to allow your body to get a jump start, to turn on the electricity within your gut and to flush out what your body has detoxified throughout the night, and get that flushed out and start with a clean slate before you add that coffee, let's say 40 minutes later, and see what your results are and see what your energy levels do and how they actually increase over a period of time. And just focusing on just a simple step of hydration, drinking, plenty of water, and good water.
Good water.
Yeah.
So I had coffee today in my Santa mug.
Oh, fantastic. You're the
So
Holy Spirit.
and it's funny you asked earlier. I got up, I do a meditation, but before my meditation, I drink a good 10, 12 ounces. I take a half a lemon, I squeeze it, pour filtered water, and I chug that. I don't like, I take a couple, but a few sessions. And then I go to a meditation, and that's 45 minutes or so. And then I come from that. And then eventually I make coffee. I drink 2 cups, black. I do put a little butter, but it's pastured, not pasteurized. It's grass fed. I put some butter in it, so I get a little healthy fat. It's called a bullet. And then that's it. I mean, there are days I make more. I have because I want it. It's not because I'm tired. It's because I enjoy the taste. I don't walk down like a zombie. I don't need coffee in the morning at all. I do, and some days I forget. Oh crap! It's like 10 o'clock. I forgot to make coffee, and then I say, "Well, I don't need it. It's okay." But Stanley, then and then about 4 or 5 hours after I get up, I have breakfast. No, I eat. I don't call it breakfast, but I have a little. I had a little sweet potato, broccoli, sautéed onion, cauliflower rice, spinach, and squash. And it's all from, left. I had it all in the fridge. A scoop, 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 scoop. And a nice big chunk of coconut oil, organic, of course. And I heat it all up, and then I eat it. And I don't feel worse. I don't feel I ate too much. I don't feel I need something else. And I'm energized.
Yeah. You just mentioned something about you don't need anything else. You're eating foods that your body is satisfied with. And when we find ourselves constantly going back to the pantry or going back to the refrigerator and opening the door and asking the proverbial question, what am I looking for? And if you answer, I don't know, that's an indication that whatever it is that you put into your body just before wasn't satisfying what your body's craving in a natural sense. And so now we're looking at, oh gosh, that's still early enough. I could have that half a piece of pie. I could have some ice cream with it, maybe a little drizzle of caramel, and top it off with, whatever. And that's your body telling you that, hey, the reason you're craving this stuff outside continually, not just a once in a while. And, we get into this holiday season and it's everywhere, right? So I'm not saying dive into that, but what can you do to suppress that and say, I'm going to limit it? I'm not going to eat that, and make the agreement with yourself because you know what the outcome is going to be. So good source in, you get a good output. Bad source in, you get a sluggish output. And there's that need for, I got to have a stimulant. I got to have something to pick me up. I need to pick me up in the middle of the day.
And I also, is your why great enough? Are you passionate about anything in life? Are you going towards something? Are you aiming to improve? I mean, if you're not, you just get up and living. Life's living you, and you just kind of like a rudderless ship all day. Well, you're going to be tired, and
Right.
that's just the way it is. It's not anyone's fault. It's not your age. It's that you don't even have a great reason to get up. And I can relate to that. And I was tired in my 20s. I would like, oh God, flipping the covers off, then going, no, screw that. I'm staying in. I know I said I was going to get up and I was going to do a few things before, but you know what? I am exhausted and life sucks and I deserve it. So I'm pulling these covers up to here and I'm waiting till the last second. And
Right.
then I am booking to get my ass out the door and into work, and don't get in my way. Don't be traffic. Don't be stupid, because I'm going to be restless, irritable, discontented. And but here's the thing, Stanley, I was disconnected. There was a malady. I was separate. I was running the show, trying to navigate life with just self will. And it was absolutely exhausting. No amount of, hey, and we didn't even bring up alcohol. There's people that are hitting the booze at the end of the day for a pick me up. Yeah, it's called a kill me sooner. And I don't mean to judge, it's fine if it works for you, that's great. But if it's for a reason outside of I just like a highball. I don't even know what a highball is, but it just came to me. I know what an 8-ball is, but not a highball. And you know, again, my friend, this acquaintance, just got curious. Is it possible that this Coca-Cola, I've heard somebody said, that stuff has a lot of sugar. It does? Well, you got to turn the bottle. And it's like, this is amazing. I stopped and it wasn't easy, Stanley. It wasn't easy to stop.
Right.
Because I got a body that's now addicted to it. I got a mind that thinks I need it. It's lying to me. So, oh, geez, what's my go-to? Why don't you get a 64 liter? If you got to put a little food coloring in and fill it with filtered water. Hey, that looks like my Coke. Trick the body. But eventually, some people can do cold turkey. Some people got to nurture the body demanding it go the wrong way. And guess what? You will neuroplasticity. You will form new pathways. You will use less energy once it becomes a habit. And then you will bring that energy from within and into your workday, into those you love. And you know what I'm talking about. You as in Stanley and lots of people listening, because people like that. They just don't seem, they're like the ever ready bunny.
Yeah, the Energizer bunny. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing I want to kick.
Yeah. Yeah.
I used to hate that thing. Shut up.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing of it is that people think it's counterintuitive that physical movement is going to drain them. It actually increases your energy. This is a fact. This is a fact. Okay. Let me say that again. This is a fact. Movement, it improves your endorphins, it increases your endorphins, and it also stimulates your body because more oxygen is coming in. So it's neutralizing, or it's adding nutrient to your muscles. And as that's happening, it's also expanding your cardiovascular. It's making your heart happier and healthier. And it's not going to be found in a box that, even though it's approved by the FDA, it's not heart healthy. Okay. So quit reading the labels and start reading your body and allow this natural energy exertion to create energy inside. And you'd be amazed at what a walk can do for you after a meal. And you say, the only thing I want to do after I eat is go sit down. That's the worst thing that you can do for your body because it's already overloaded. I promise you this. If you will get on a treadmill or go for a quick walk, a 10-minute walk, 10-minute walk on a treadmill, 10-minute walk outside after your dinner, you will have better energy. The next day, you'll have better sleep that night, and you'll thank me. It's amazing what this does for your body.
Yeah. I encourage outside because now you got to get a jacket, maybe a hat and some gloves, and you got to think, you got to map out, you got to know where you're going, you get to look at things and enjoy to smell the fresh air. And, if possible, do it if the sun is out. Of course, after dinner, it's going to be dark. So carry a good flashlight. And I'm just sharing experience. And I take the dog. And then I got to have the dog, make sure he has. So it's a system. I have hooks. I have a flashlight and the harness. And then I have the jacket. I like to wear the hat. So it's not frustrating. The dog bags, And then I go ploop, 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 ploop. The dog sits, waits, it's amazing. And there's another. I've had dogs all my life. And never once turned around and said, hey, buddy, you want to go on a walk? and they've never said, "Nah, I had too much for lunch.
Yeah.
Those Chips Ahoy's are killing me, bro. I'm gonna just have a soda and take a nap." No, they go, "Phew, yeah, let's go," because they also aren't burning up energy wastefully, thinking about foolish decisions about what that person said at work and how I'm gonna get even. And my boss is such a jerk. And oh God, my car needs new tires. And my God, I haven't cleaned the windows in my house. I gotta wash my kitchen floor. I hate my sink and my stove needs to be replaced. And no wonder I have no energy.
Yeah. And the thing of it is, Charlie, is that we didn't start off with an IV with caffeine in our blood system. And so it was a gradual decrease in energy. So we supplemented it with a stimulant. And what I want to say is that if you will take the challenge, I want to put this challenge out there, especially as we go into the new year. What better time now? Uh, Let the screaming brat inside of you that's saying, I need this stimulant, to just ignore that just for a little bit.
Yep.
And you take back the control, you take back the power. And that little screaming brat inside of you is going to be screaming. And if you don't give in, just like a child, if you don't give in to their every little whim, they come around and your body will come around. It may kick a little bit. It may give you a little bit of a headache. It may give you a little bit of body ache in the beginning. You go, this is not worth it. Well, I can tell you on the other side of that, it is definitely worth it. And I have people that are 40 years old and they tell me, man, I just don't have the energy and it's just age. And I have people that are in their 70s and 80s and they are vibrant and they are living life and they're living it on their terms. Doesn't happen every single day, like without an issue, without a little fussing. But at the end of the day, they go, I won. And the next day they feel better. And it's because they remain consistent to the life that they want. Here's the last thing that you want is that prognosis, that now you have something and it's a life situation. And now you take an inventory, go, I wish I would have ate that sugar. The last time I talked to somebody that had a chronic disease, they never say, gosh, I wish I would have had more stimulants. I wish I would have ate more sugar. I wish I would have ate more crap from a drive-through. I never, ever hear that. I always hear, I wish I would have took that advice and I wish I would have heeded that information a little bit better. And now you have a choice today and you can make a decision and start off gradually and begin to supplement that need for a supplement, that energy drink, for something more healthy. Maybe some strawberries, maybe a piece of fruit, maybe an apple or oranges, or maybe some arugula. I love arugula. I have arugula probably 5 days a week on my salad, and throw a little cilantro on there and some spinach and olives and
That's too much work. Stop it.
yeah. So, the idea is to start trading, swapping out those sugary things for something a little more natural and healthier.
Yeah. Make a decision.
Yeah,
Follow it through.
yeah,
Ask for help. Get an accountability partner.
exactly.
Ask somebody, hey, how's your energy level? I feel a little, okay, me too. How about we both do something different with our lives and let's support each other? Doesn't cost money. It's an ask, but without an ask, you won't go anywhere. You'll just stay stuck and get sicker. I know. And, you said out walking, jumping jacks, push ups, do something. That's what I do, and that's what Stanley does, and that's what the many people we coach. It's as soon as this ends, Stanley, I'm blessed to have a dog now again in my life, and I'll do a dance side to side with him. I'll say, "Come on, boy, put him up."
Right.
And then he'll come at me, and then he'll take off. I'll take off after him. We run to the house. And I'm 57, and I am running as fast as I can because I like playing tag. And this dog is re-energized. I'm doing way more, 16,000 steps a day. I'm at almost 3.8 million steps for the year. I'll hit well over 1,900 miles on my feet. That's not all the other stuff. That's just, and that I could not do in my 20s.
Yeah. Yeah. You can have the energy that you didn't have earlier in your life starting today.
Yeah, and you don't have to go to Walmart or a box store or the internet. It's already a part of who you are.
Right.
It's screaming, please tap into me.
Yep. Well, Charlie, I think that's a great place to bring this to a close, and as we get closer to this, the time when we're going to be around a lot of different foods, a lot of things and a lot of treats that we don't normally have. And it's saying, hey, what is the end result that I want? And starting each day on a positive note and adding those elements, and gradually, you don't have to jump off the bridge, but don't wait for the bridge to fall out before you make a decision. And you can have a vibrant life and have energy that is boundless and endless as much as you want. It's all in your control.
Yeah. And don't forget to like this video,
Exactly.
subscribe to the Fueled Life podcast. Stanley and I, somebody might say, boy, there's not many followers. That's not, we're building content on purpose and building systems that will then offer webinars and the whole platform. But right now, we are just oiling the pump. We are working together. And this takes energy, by the way. It takes energy to get to this point, to present, and then to move from this into another thing. So a well-planned out day and all this is it's how to conserve, but use energy wisely. And that's what Stanley and I want to do with the Fueled Life. It's just share our experience, not talk down to anybody. We've been there. And, if you're getting value from these, if you're newly landing on one of them, or this one especially, please send it off to somebody you care about, you love, and you want to help on their journey of life. And, of course, thumbs up and subscribe. And we'll be around next week, but not the week after, because that'll be Christmas.
Yep. So until then, have an energized life, have an energized week, and take some of the content that we brought to you and implement just one small element. Maybe add a little extra water to your day and one less coffee. Until then, have an outstanding week, and we'll see you